Free Burma Rangers are here in Ukraine, and they are an organization that goes into hard places, into places where it's hard to be, like war zones, Syria, Burma, Ukraine. And we come with freedom, love, and peace, and to bring that type of atmosphere into hard locations where soldiers or civilians are being persecuted. And so here we are, we find ourselves in East Ukraine. I brought some friends with me. These are all former professional fighters in the U.S. military. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. I'll start with Ross.
Some of us are from living in Southeast Asia, some of us live in America. We all live in different places. So our message to you today just is that you're not alone, and we're here because we believe in what you're doing. We believe in the cause you're fighting for.
Currently live in Alaska, and I was in U.S. Army for 12 years.
I'm so honored to be here and see your faces again.
I believe in what you're doing, and I'm here because of Jesus, just like Ross said.
Ну да, я миссионер, христианский, протестантский миссионер тоже.
I came to Ukraine actually, I landed 12 hours before the Russians crossed the line. I love this country, I love to be here.
So, all right, let's get some training done today. Y'all ready for some training? The last couple of days we are ministering to soldiers who are experiencing trauma, soldiers who have been in war for over a year and a half and who weren't soldiers before. And so they find themselves in situations that are hard, and they're dealing with things that are extremely hard, such as war, being away from their families, missing children's birthday, loss of loved ones, financial problems. And so we come to minister to those soldiers, and we connect with them because we are soldiers ourselves. Most of us are former military and have a love for Jesus, so we use that connection that we have with soldiers through our experiences, and we share the love of Jesus through that, which ends up giving them healing in those places that need healing in. It's really important that we communicate with each other.
Like a team leader, he might be trying to tell you something, or
Право, пошли! Мы центр, пошли!
On the basis, most soldiers around the world have the fundamental of love for their country, love for their family, and they will stand and defend that. What I've found here in Ukraine is, I'm a former United States Green Beret, and I've been able to train soldiers in other countries. And some of those soldiers need a lot of help to get to them to where they can defend themselves. But Ukrainian soldiers are the most fierce, patriotic, and loving soldiers. And they're smart, they're intelligent. You could tell them once, twice, do some practice, and they understand it, they understand the intent behind it, and they're able to do it and possibly even make it better. So I find Ukrainian soldiers a really fierce fighting force, and I hope to see them in victory and have freedom.
you have to train and keep practicing these skills.
Вам треба продовжити тренуватися і практикувати ці навички,
Because you love two things.
тому що ви любите дві речі:
You love your country,
свою країну
and you love the men that you are fighting with.
і побратимів, з якими ви воюєте.
Master your emotion. Embrace the gift of free will that God gave you. That's the way of the warrior.
For me, the most important goal, the reason that I'm here and the rest of our team is for Jesus. We're here to glorify God. My secondary mission is to spread the gospel, and we want to see people come to Jesus. But as far as the medical training goes, we want to empower people to save the men next to them. You know, it's a horrible feeling when someone gets injured and you don't know what to do to treat them or how to get them out or how to stabilize them. So our goal is to empower the soldiers to do their job the best way they know how and give them the tools they need to win this fight, to save their friends' lives, and to see a Ukraine that is free from oppression. Go! Well, we have a problem. Not everybody got their tourniquet on in time.
Не всі вчасно вділи турнікет.
And we train conventional forces, we train territorial defense forces, police, firefighters, and basic stop the bleed and tactical combat casualty care. I would say that today's training was good. The soldiers are motivated here. They understand the reality on the ground. They know why it's important. The way I could improve it is more time, right? That's the biggest challenge in Ukraine. There's already a war on, is finding the time to make sure the soldiers get the training that they deserve. What's the first thing I look for on my patient? Massive bleeding, right? So we're talking about March.
You know, I spent 10 years in the United States Marine Corps, and I've, since leaving the Marine Corps, worked with, I think, 3 other armies in both Southeast Asia and the Middle East. So it's amazing to see the warrior ethos, the fighting spirit of different armies and different soldiers. But being here, I think it's one of the things that I just recognize and see is I really think that fighting spirit, though I've seen in other places, it's just unique here. I don't know how to put my finger on it. I need to probably think about it longer, but there's just just a passion to go into an environment that is not friendly at all. I mean, it's cold, it's wet, it's snowy, but yet just continuing day after day to work towards seeing a free Ukraine, and to do it because of the love for their brother and their love for their country, and even a country in some ways that is relatively young. It's amazing to see that fighting spirit and that love for each other. I just felt yesterday when we have stayed in several different homes, the hospitality, so to have on one hand an amazing fighting spirit and to have a toughness and a ruthlessness in some ways, but just a toughness and a courage, but then to see the hospitality also, it's just a special blend to see in the same place. Almost have to tell people, hey, please stop preparing things for us. You have other jobs to do. And so seeing that, I think, tenderness and toughness together is really, really cool. You all have done a great job training on how to care for the body, especially in a tactical environment, how to get somebody back where they can. But I just want to remind you, and you all know, there are injuries that happen in our mind and in our heart that we never can really see with our eyes.
We're here to support you. We pray for you.
I know we spent a lot of time talking about hate and love.
І значить, ми провели багато часу говорячи про ненависть і любов.
I assure you it's because these men have been in a lot of wars.
Я запевняю вас, що ці чоловіки також були на
And
війні.
let the war take them over.
І вона могла захопити їх повністю.
And they needed healing afterwards.
І їм потрібно було зцілення після війни.
And so we want the best for you.
Ми хочемо найкращого для вас.
Trying to warn you of that.
І хочемо попередити вас.
Okay.
But sometimes the best thing you can do, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do for a soldier who just lost his best friend to an artillery barrage. But you can be there and suffer with them in the midst of their pain. Sometimes your mere presence and your willingness to pray for them is the best ministry that you can give. And so I think that's an important consideration for all of us, for all chaplains, for all Christians in the Ukraine. How do we come alongside people and stay with them in the midst of the suffering? Something I don't like to see, and this wasn't a question, but I'm going to say it anyway, is missionaries running away from conflict. Paul didn't run away in the gospel, right? He got stoned in Lystra, almost to the point of death. And then he left that area and then came back to Lystra, where he had almost been killed. All missionaries, all chaplains, we need to learn from something from that. We need to be willing to be in the midst of the fight, suffering alongside the men.